Hello everyone and welcome. Today we will be covering something different than the shorts I usually cover. Relax and enjoy, and please don't forget to support the channel so we can keep posting new content. Thank you. In the year 1892, Charlotte Perkins Gilman penned a haunting tale, The Yellow Wallpaper. A story of a woman trapped, not just by the four walls of a room, but by her own mind, the stifling expectations of society, and a medical world that misunderstands her very existence. This isn't just a ghost story, it's a deeper, more unsettling reflection on control, freedom, and the terrifying effects of isolation. Imagine, for a moment, being trapped in a room, isolated, powerless, with no way out. For our protagonist, this room, with its hideous yellow wallpaper, becomes more than just a prison. It's a symbol of her suffocating existence. We never learn her name because, in a way, she is every woman forced into silence. Her story could be anyone's, trapped by a life not of her choosing. Her husband, John, a physician, believes that what she needs is rest. Complete rest. He insists on the rest cure, a popular treatment for women suffering from what was then known as nervous exhaustion, a vague diagnosis, often used to dismiss the real suffering of women. But John doesn't just prescribe a cure for her body, he prescribes a life of complete inactivity. He forbids her from doing anything stimulating. No reading, no writing, no creativity. Nothing but lying down and resting. At first, the woman is simply irritated by the wallpaper. Its garish yellow color disturbs her, and the strange pattern seems to writhe under her gaze. But over time, something shifts. What begins as a mild discomfort becomes an obsession. She writes about it in her journal, this wallpaper that seems to move when she isn't looking directly at it. The patterns grow more perplexing by the day. In fact, the wallpaper begins to take on a life of its own. It's as though it's breathing, alive with a hidden purpose. For our protagonist, this is no longer just a mundane decoration. It is her world now. She is trapped in it, unable to look away. As her obsession with the wallpaper deepens, she begins to believe that there is something, or someone, behind it. A woman, she thinks, trapped and struggling to break free. The woman's desperate movements become part of the wallpaper's pattern, a haunting presence that speaks to the narrator's own growing desperation. It's here, in her isolation, that we see the true horror unfold, not in the wallpaper, but in her mind. She is no longer just seeing the figure, she is becoming the figure. She is the woman trapped behind the yellow wall, struggling to break free. This obsession, this need to peel away the wallpaper, isn't just about the room. It is a desperate attempt to break out of her mental prison, to escape the treatment that has rendered her powerless. The wallpaper becomes a metaphor for her entire existence, something that holds her in place, smothering her, driving her to the edge of insanity. In a way, the wallpaper is a reflection of the world she lives in. Society has confined her to this room, not just physically, but emotionally and intellectually. John's well-meaning treatment is just another form of control. The woman is told what to do, how to think, and when to speak. Her voice is silenced, and in its place, the wallpaper speaks for her. Her descent into madness is not simply the result of her illness, but of the oppression she faces as a woman. She is told that her suffering is imaginary, dismissed as mere hysteria. She is not given a voice to express her pain, only to conform. The room, the wallpaper, everything around her is a constant reminder that she is not allowed to be anything other than what others want her to be. And then, finally, she acts. Desperate, frantic, she locks herself in the room and begins to peel away the wallpaper, convinced that she is freeing the woman trapped behind it. She sees herself in that woman, as though, in the act of tearing the wallpaper apart, she is breaking free from the prison that has kept her confined for so long. But what she doesn't realize is that in her mind, she has already broken free in the worst possible way. Her obsession, her madness, has consumed her. The woman she believes she is rescuing is not a separate entity at all, it is herself. She is the one who is trapped, and as she pulls away the last piece of wallpaper, she is pulling apart her own sanity. John, horrified by the scene before him, faints. He can't comprehend what has happened. He thought he was helping her, but in his treatment, he has only trapped her deeper. The very thing he thought would cure her has driven her mad. His failure is as complete as hers. The last words of the woman in her madness are chilling. I've got out at last, in spite of you and Jane. And I've pulled off most of the wallpaper. The final act of rebellion, tearing away the wallpaper, wasn't an act of freedom at all. It was an act of complete surrender to madness. What makes the yellow wallpaper so disturbing is not the supernatural, but the psychological unraveling of the protagonist. The horror here is rooted in the oppression she faces, not just from her husband, but from society as a whole. Her mental illness is not the cause of her demise, it is the result of a life lived under control, of a mind suffocated by the expectations of others. This story is a warning, a call for us to understand the complexity of mental illness and the destructive power of silencing someone's voice. The yellow wallpaper is not just a piece of decor. It is a symbol of everything that holds her back, everything that keeps her from becoming her true self. And in tearing it down, she believes she is breaking free. But in reality, she is only losing herself completely. The yellow wallpaper is a profound exploration of isolation, mental illness, and the consequences of controlling another person. It's a reminder that we must never disregard the inner lives of others, nor silence those who are suffering. It's a story that resonates deeply because, at its core, it's not just a horror story about a woman in a room with yellow wallpaper. It's about the horror of losing your voice and losing yourself. Thank you for joining me as we explored the haunting world of the yellow wallpaper. If you found this video thought-provoking, please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, sometimes the most chilling horrors lie not in the things we can see, but in the things we cannot understand. Until next time.